as a DC fan, a DC fanatic, what do you think of James Gunn's plane?
Wishing it to like fail, like how some people are doing, is like getting on a plane and hoping that it crashes. You don't want it to fail, right?
What if your ex is on the plane though?
Hey man, then you know sometimes sacrifices got to be made.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have.
They're doing the Booster Gold thing. One of my favorite DC stories of all time is Blue and Gold. That's like the best bromance in comic book history, in my opinion.
Hey, yo!
First of all, if I run fast and I can slow down time, I'm not tripping.
Cap.
Why am I tripping on everything?
How could I trip? Or even if you see it, you're like, yo, I'm not picking this shit up. Like, yo, I'm gonna fucking scoop I'm gonna scoop Suicide Squad before I pick up Creature Commandos. It was the same thing for Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I would always see their characters. I would see Groot. I would be like, yo, the fuck is this tree nigga and a raccoon? and with the fucking writing process, how the fuck do you, like, are you just writing this shit on your own?
Yeah, it's just me. So how I got the way to write it was I've been reading like a bunch of Image comics like Saga, Low, East of West. But if you read The Wicked, the Divine,
Okay.
if you get their trades, in the back of it, they have like all like their writer's notes. So it's like the emails between them, the scripts that they have, and everything like that. That's how I got the way that I write comic books. It's just like reading that and then like putting it with like, okay, so this is the page that he had for this. This is the description that he wrote, and then I move it. And then like I compare it to what I read. Like, so I go back and forth between the back of the book and then like what I just read, and then like compare it. Okay, so that's how he did that. And it's really like writing a movie, like the way that they do it. Like, it's not like panel, and then it doesn't say like he's standing over here. This is what he's doing. It's like action. So it's like, so like it'll say like, it's about gods, right? So there's like Dionysus in there, and like Dionysus is like a party animal, and then it'll be like main character walks in while Dionysus is DJing a party, and everybody's like, you know, partying to music. So it's like he'll write out like a scene for like a movie, and then the artist will draw that out. So that's like how I kind of like script it out.
All right, yo, you gotta send that shit to me, because like I'm writing out my own project right now, and I just take my ideas for my specific story, and I just like type it down frequently throughout the day. I don't have dialogue or anything fully mapped out yet, but yeah, I need to see some shit like that, man. That's a good idea, or that's good that Image Comics does that. I mean, I haven't seen that. I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually read an Image comic, but I mean,
it's honestly just that one though.
Oh, okay.
It's honestly just that one that I've seen it in, because like Saga doesn't do that like that, but The Wicked, the Divine does, and it's only in their trades.
All right, dope. Yeah, I gotta figure this shit out, man. It's like trying to do all of this shit. It's a lot of fucking work, bro. It's coming up with content, filming the content, editing the content. That's why I switched up my style on what I'm doing, because I said, all right, you know what? Fuck this. I gotta come up with content that I could think of the idea, film it, edit it in like 2 seconds, and post it within 20 minutes. I was like, no more of this like fancy editing and shit like that. Like, I'll save that for podcasts that I do, or I'll save it for anything on YouTube. But for anything for Instagram and TikTok, I gotta be quick, because that's just the way people are digesting content. That's the way these algorithms are working. It's like, who can put out the most content the fastest. It doesn't have to be super quality, but there has to be some sort of quality around it. And I'm not necessarily saying it has to be pristine and perfect. What I mean is there has to be something about that specific person, account, video that is making people commit to that person, if it makes sense. So if you're a fucking influencer that dances and does TikTok shit, but you do it dope, perfect. That's your thing. Like how you do it on TikTok, where you show a funny ass video and then you just do your same reaction to it. That shit fucking works. That's just fucking funny. I'll be watching a video, and without me even seeing the account, I'm already thinking of your reaction to it. and it'll be your fucking video. And I was like, I knew it. I knew this shit was his. I knew it. Knew it. It'd be mad. It'd be so crazy. It'd be like the ones where the girls be like mad hot, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know G is gonna fucking love this shit. And then you be right there at the end of the video. It'd be mad fucking funny. It'd be ones that be super hot. I'm like, damn, yo, this girl's fine, and then your face pops up. I'm like, all right, yo, get out of here. Go back to the girl. Nah, funny. But anyway, let me fucking introduce. I got G on here. He is the writer, creator of Gaia's Triton, a fire ass story. He's also my DC Comics delegate. He's the person that I go to. I've been shitting on DCEU and Snyderverse for mad long. Not that I don't like Snyderverse, but however, it's just the way that they got shit structured over there corporate wise. It's terrible. It ain't nowhere near MCU status. But obviously now we have James Gunn. He's cleaning house. He's giving us a clear vision. I kind of like it. I like the way that he's going. I already like the way James Gunn writes his projects. I love the way he writes it, directs it. There's artistic vision behind it. So I'm hyped to see what he does with DC. I feel like we're going to see something that we've never seen before from all of these characters and projects. But anyway, man, thank you for being on my fucking pod, man. But yeah, let's
Thank
get
you for
right
having
into
me,
it,
bro.
bro. No problem, no problem. So tell me, what do you think as a DC fan, a DC fanatic? What do you think of James Gunn's plan?
So, I mean, wishing it to like fail, like how some people are doing, is like getting on a plane and hoping that it crashed. Like, you don't want it to fail, right? Would I had liked to see Henry
But what if your
Cavill, Ben
ex is on the
Affleck?
plane though?
Hey man, then sometimes sacrifices got to be made, but
Yo,
sometimes you got to
what
make.
if the ops is on the plane and you're like, yo, I hope that shit crash. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Nah, so I mean, I would have loved to see Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot. I wanted to see at least their storylines finish. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they can't play the characters forever, but like when I think of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, like it's just like they fit so perfectly. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like trying to have a different Iron Man now. You know what I mean? Like, it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm not surprised that he did things like Creature Commandos, because he was Guardians of the Galaxy at Marvel. Like he loves doing like the niche stuff. He did Suicide Squad and was pulling people that people have never heard of. Like who would have thought Weasel would have been in a major movie? Like
Weasel, fucking Polka Dot Man, like all of these fucking characters,
crazy.
and he makes them fucking dope. The only one that I feel like he didn't do justice was King Shark. Just the
I mean,
CGI. The CGI on him, like he looks so plain and simple. Whereas the King Shark from that new Suicide Squad video game that's coming out, I don't know if it came out or whatever, but that King Shark looked actually fire. I feel like if they had that CGI, but still same thing, Sylvester Stallone and the other special effects that he like when he ripped that person apart, I thought that shit was fire.
yeah, no, and King Shark he's a dope character. I really liked him in Harley Quinn show. Like
Okay.
I like him when he's like when he shows intelligent. Like so when he's like just like this dumb shark character. It's cool for comedic relief, which is I mean it's a James Gunn movie scene. He's gonna throw in like his little jokes and stuff like that. So I mean it worked, but I like the intelligent King Shark characters too.
Yeah. I could see that. That's I don't know if this is a fair comparison. Yeah, it's really not. I was thinking of more like Bane when Bane was in that Batman movie with Poison Ivy, and you know how Bane was kind of like slow, whereas
Exactly, yeah.
like Bane could also be super intelligent.
Yeah, like Tom
Makes
Hardy's
sense.
Bane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's not really like a fair comparison because that Bane was super weird as hell, but he was kind of cool for what it was at the time.
Yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
never saw a live action Bane, so we're like, all right, we'll take it for what it is. But obviously now we're a little bit more savvier and we're a little bit more seasoned with superhero and supervillain shit. But
Yeah,
yeah, I liked King Shark. It would be cool to see somebody who is not the dumb jock, like super
exactly.
muscular but also dumb at the same time. That's kind of what they
Yeah.
do with Colossus in the Deadpool movie. He's not
Facts,
like
exactly.
too dumb, but like a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, what he did with Suicide Squad, I thought that was incredible. I honestly thought that Suicide Squad was better than the first version. I don't
So
know if you.
I don't like to compare the two because James Gunn got to show his full vision for what it was,
Yeah.
whereas David Ayer's cut or David Ayer's version of the movie was chopped up by a trailer company. So it's like, yeah, of course it was better because it was a fully realized vision of a full movie.
Yeah.
Whereas David Ayer has like this idea for a movie, and then Warner Brothers is just like, nah, son, I don't agree. Like, and then they just chop up his movie and make it into whatever they want to make it. Like, obviously, it's like they're the studio, but you have to want to make good products, and that's what I'm most excited about with James Gunn is that I feel like he wants to make a good product and he has the full reign to do so.
Okay.
Whereas Zack Snyder, he had like his kneecaps cut out from every single chance that they could. If you look at BVS, the theatrical version was terrible. Or not, let me not say terrible, but it wasn't good. And then the
Yeah.
director's cut, and then the directors are like the Ultimate Edition, I think is what it's called. Fire, bro! I love that movie. It's one of my favorite DC movies.
Batman vs Superman is one of your favorite. You thought that was better than Man of Steel?
No. I said one of my favorite movies. I didn't say that it was my
Oh,
favorite.
my bad. I was
My
about to
favorite is Zack
say.
Snyder's Justice League. My favorite is Zack Snyder's Justice League for sure.
Okay. All right. Yes. The full Zack Snyder cut, like that
The
one.
4 hour one.
That one was fly. I like that. That shit was long as fuck. But good thing I was watching it during COVID and ain't had nothing else. But that I like that. I like that. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks what happened with Zack Snyder. Obviously, condolences to his family. I think his daughter passed away, and you can't really do anything. Like, I've been in a situation where I had a family member pass away, and it's like, yo, it's like no matter what, like even if you try to work, even if you try, you can't. You can't. It's like your mind
Yeah.
is not in it. No matter, I don't care how big the project is. It's like if you had a close family member that passes away, you just can't be in it. And it's
There's things
unfortunate
that are more
that.
important.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Who was the new director that took over for that movie? Was it
Joss Whedon, the dude
Josh
from
Whedon?
Avengers.
Oh, yes. And you know what's funny? And this is where, for myself, where I'm trying to figure out the difference between somebody who's a producer or an executive producer, a writer, and a director, because we always pin it, or a majority of us pin it on Josh Whedon, which is the reason why Justice League was terrible. All of the changes that he did, he pretty much like shitted on Zack Snyder's vision. He shitted on a lot of the actors and actresses in their projects. But then if you look at the first Avengers movie, which was phenomenal, I think he's either a director or an executive producer of it. So you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what is up with this dude?
I think that what it was that you have this established idea of who Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Iron Man, Captain America, like outside of Hulk, if you weren't like a hardcore into Marvel, you weren't really thinking about these characters. Like nobody was dressing up as Hawkeye when we were kids going trick or treating, bro. Like
That's not a good example. That's not a good example because were people dressing up as Green Arrow?
but that's the thing though, is that they created Green Arrow in that show to make him what he is, right? You already
Yeah.
have this idea of what Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are gonna be, right? So then like
Okay.
say when you hear when you hear Wonder Woman cracking a corny joke, it's like that's not Wonder Woman. When you see Flash falling on top of Wonder Woman in the sewers, it's like, what is this? When you hear Batman do like
Yeah.
something weird, it's like it's kind of weird. So it's like they the execs at Warner Brothers wanted the success that Avengers had, so they try to pull everything from Avengers. Okay, let's go get the director. Let's make it lighter. Let's throw some jokes in there. But then you realize that like, yeah, that works for the Avengers because they were building these characters and who they're going to be. Like that was the first team up that we saw them all together. So I'm sure that if you read Captain America's old comic books, like I'm not too well versed in them, but like let's say if you go back and read the comic books, the way he acts in MCU, I'm sure is vastly different than how he acts in comic books. But the difference is that Captain America, like he's big, but he's not like he wasn't Superman. I mean, but he wasn't Spider Man. He wasn't
Yeah.
he wasn't Wolverine. Like say like if they did Logan and Logan started cracking jokes, you'd be like, what is this, bro?
Yeah, Logan. I mean, not to get off topic, but Wolverine has his way of being funny but serious at the same time. Like when he
Yeah,
shits on Scott Summers, like that shit is funny,
that's
but he's like
hilarious.
serious at the same time. Like,
Hilarious.
yeah, it's mad funny. But I get what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. A lot of the more popular properties of Marvel weren't owned by Marvel. So like Spider-Man and X-Men and even Fantastic Four wasn't owned by Marvel. So they took all of the characters that most people like. We wasn't running to be Iron Man, Thor, or Captain America. Hulk super popular. Hulk super
Yeah.
popular. But yeah, and they just kind of took this team as well as Black Widow and Hawkeye, and they made like super dope. And don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying like as far as the comic book world, obviously Captain America and Iron Man, they're that's the niggas right there. Like those are the people.
Exactly.
But as far as like when I was younger, like we were always hyped about the X-Men TV show, hyped about the Spider-Man TV show. Hulk, a little bit. Iron Man show, a little bit. But and then it was just like all DC. So Justice League, Batman animated TV shows probably still ranked as number like top 3 animated superhero cartoons of all time. And it's gonna be
Facts.
tough for anybody to even come close to that because that shit was fire. But
Facts.
yeah, and X-Men, Wolverine was like the poster child for it, but also it had all of the X-Men like Jean Grey, Scott Summer. Everybody loved those characters. So for Marvel to take and kind of create these personas of Iron Man and Captain America, I mean, you're right. It's dope. We already kind of have a vision of what Batman and Superman are supposed to be, and Wonder Woman. But I mean, still, I don't know what Josh Whedon was thinking outside of that. Like when he did the CGI mustache with Superman. Disrespectful. Making the Flash kind of clumsy. First of all, if I run fast and I can slow down time, I'm not tripping.
Why am I tripping on everything?
How could I trip? It's like when Smash Brothers came out with Brawl and they put in that trip factor to me. It's like why is that even a consideration? That didn't make any sense.
Bro. And it's like when they did it in Zack Snyder's Justice League when he's like staring at Wonder Woman, that's different because he's distracted. Josh Whedon just had him like this crazy like I get it, he's supposed to be inexperienced, but not knowing how to walk, not knowing how to like move your feet when you're like fast enough to stop time is crazy to me.
Insane. When they first introduced Ezra bum ass Miller, or I'll say the Flash. Let's say the Flash. I'll separate the character from the actor. Besides the Flash movie, but when they did it in Batman vs Superman, and they had like the little TV screen, and you saw him in that little convenience store bodega, that was fire. I thought that was super dope. But then they just made him like not even a comedic joke. I don't even know, because the Flash, like, he can be funny. Like, I love the Flash, and I forget which version of it, but the one that's always like he's trying to be like Johnny Bravo and like bag all the chicks and shit like that. I like that Flash. I think that Flash has depth. I like that. If you're a speedster, if you're in track and you're the fastest person in school, it's like, I'm the shit. It's like I can outrun everybody here, and you're trying to all bag all the ladies and shit like that. So I like that aspect, but they kind of went the opposite direction with Ezra Miller, and they made him super timid and unconfident. And it's like, if I'm a superhero, I'm gonna have confidence.
That's another reason why I like Zack Snyder's version of the characters, because like in Zack Snyder's Justice League, with his interaction with Iris, where he like saves her when he's going for the interview at the pet shop, and then let's say he busts through the window, saves her, sets her down. It's like, like you can tell that he's still kind of like, he's not really like that suave dude, but he's not like, oh, I'm scared of women, let me not touch her, like let me, like, no, like he sees what he likes, okay, I'm gonna go save this girl real quick and I come back, and then he makes a cool joke. you always got to keep your meat sticks in your pocket for the dogs, you know, like
Yeah.
pause, but
Keeping the meat, keeping the. The only thing that I feel like Zack Snyder could have did less of is the slow mo. It is not early 2000s anymore. The Matrix is kind of, it's like when with the slow mo with Aquaman walking into the water and the waves moving slow, we could do without that. That whole scene with Barry and Iris, that probably could have been chopped down a third because that scene was long as shit. And I understand we're trying to see Flash's perspective, everything is slowed down. That's fine. But you could have just condensed the scene a little bit more because I felt like that was super long. And I felt like that whole scene wouldn't have made the final version if Zack Snyder was on board and obviously everything didn't happen the way it was, if he finished the whole entire movie, because that scene was long as shit.
if he had like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour time constraint, yeah, that like he'd have probably seen her walking past the pet shop and that'd have been it.
Yeah. I mean, there could have been like a little, like the car accident scene. It could have just been like quicker. Like, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just nitpicking right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
you know, those things. But yeah, it's just weird. I'm trying to make those connections of, you know, Josh Whedon, like why he chose what he chose and why he did what he did. And you know, I always want to see the stuff from behind the scenes, but I can only go by what Gal Gadot says, what Ray Fisher said, and everybody else. And it's like, yo, this guy is a dick. So
He's
you
a
know,
scumbag
that's
for
what the
sure.
fans are gonna go by, and we could see it by the movie. It's like some of the decisions that you chose, like the Superman versus Darkseid from the Snyder version versus the Josh like, why would you touch that? Why would you change that? I have no idea.
Steppenwolf's design, like what? Like
Yeah, Zack Snyder's design was more unique. I mean, we haven't really seen any, I guess, armor that looked like that. Uh, I wish like they took both of the designs and kind of combined it together. If that
like
makes
I
sense.
yeah, no, because Josh Whedon was trying to go for like a more like comic book accurate, like this is how Steppenwolf kind of looks. But like you have to also look at like your time constraints too, right? Because he came in with a few months left to do everything, right?
Yeah,
Creating a whole new villain from scratch in CGI takes longer than that, which is why he comes out looking the way he did, which is why Superman's face looks like that. Like it's you don't, and like mind you, when it came out, I'm a huge DC fan, bro. So I was like, it's not like the mustache. It's not even that bad, bro. Like you
nah,
can't even really tell,
that shit was terrible, bro. And it was like that whole
bro.
scene in the beginning, like you didn't even need that. So you know, I don't know.
Like why, why?
Yeah,
Like,
that scene in the beginning you didn't need, and you didn't need to reshoot the end. It was fine. It was. I mean, Zack Snyder's scene was so better, so much better, so much better. But now let's tie this into James Gunn's vision. Obviously, it's clean and slate. He's keeping all the shit that's already in play. I think the only thing that he's excited about that's currently being produced that was before him is Blue Beetle.
he also said he really likes the Flash movie, but that's because it resets at everything, and I think that that gives him his,
I mean,
that
yeah,
gives him like his out
yeah.
to
I
change
really like
everything.
the Flash movie because this is going to erase all of the bullshit before and leave the open door for me because I'm getting
Yeah,
paid for it. Of course, I love the Flash movie. The Flash movie is
I'm
the
not
reason why I have a universe.
facts. No, I'm not gonna lie though. I'm when I heard Blue Beetle was getting released, I was really excited. I
I like Blue Beetle. I like Blue Beetle. Which Blue Beetle is this? Obviously, it's
Ivy Reyes,
uh, the the Hispanic one. But are we gonna
yeah,
see what's the other one? Ted. What's his name?
Cord, Cord,
That's his name, right?
Ted
Ted.
Cord, yeah,
All right, cool.
Cord, yeah.
Are we gonna see him in this, or is that something that is too far
Probably
in the
not.
past? Okay.
Probably not. I mean, if like his company's gonna be there because I think that his wife is in the movie as like a minor character, so there's gonna be like that tie-in, which
Okay.
really excites me because they're doing the Booster Gold thing. One of my favorite DC stories of all time is Blue and Gold. Like that's like the best bromance in comic book history, in my opinion, bro. Because
Yeah.
Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, like I said, I don't know if you know too much about their relationship, but they're like best friends.
I don't know too much. I know Booster Gold has, well, wasn't Ted his best friend?
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously he died or whatever. But doesn't Booster Gold go between timelines, and doesn't he bring both of them together?
So I don't know about that story, but what he does do is that he goes back in time and it's like there's a story where he goes back in time and saves Booster Gold. I mean, saves Blue Beetle,
Yeah.
and it messes up the timeline, kind of like a Flashpoint type of thing.
Okay.
Screws everything up, and then at the end of it, he has to let him die again. And like Blue Beetle's like, "Yo, like you have to let me go, like otherwise everything's gonna mess up." So like you just like this deep emotion of him, like he's always trying to do good. It's like Booster Gold is like he's like the complete fuck up of like everything, right? But like he's always has like good intentions.
Yeah.
So in this story, he goes back to save his friend, and he's doing everything right in his mind, and then he has to watch his friend die a second time, and he just like it's just so devastating for him, bro. Like it's just like we need that interaction. So at some point like he has to have a story where like I don't know if it's gonna be like in Blue Beetle 2 or 3 where like there's like a flashback of like him doing it. But if he's gonna have Booster Gold in his DCU, he has to have that story, bro. Like he
Mm.
has to.
Yeah, I mean it's probably too late. I mean they're probably almost finished filming Blue Beetle now, so I don't know if they're gonna include. I don't even know if James Gunn even has an actor to play Booster Gold just yet. Is Booster Gold gonna be a movie or a series?
I think they said it was a series.
Series. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm I'm interested. I know a little bit about Booster Gold. I don't know too much. I don't know anything about what the fuck are the Commandos people. I think to be honest, it's probably my first time even hearing about it. I'm keeping it fucking honest. Like I don't fucking know everything about every comic. This is my first time hearing about them, so I'm interested to kind of pick up some comics. I saw that the fucking comics are like all selling out of the shelves for everything since James Gunn posted up that video and showed all of the pictures of the comics that he's basing the movies on.
Like I think like the MCU has really like skewed people's like what's the best way to put this? It's skewed people's like view on like the comic books and on like the comic world in general. So because the MCU is so popular, people think that people just don't care about DC characters. Like if you talk to some people who are just like casual like MCU watchers, like people think that like that like DC is just dead all the way around. Like no, like people still love these characters, bro. So like people are excited. So like that's why people get so like connect are like so like attached to these characters. Like that's why when you see people like oh Snyderverse fans, real DC fans, it's because like these people are so invested into these characters that they get attached to them. So
Yeah,
when they hear that like these are the stories that like we're gonna base these off of, like just like how you said, it's impossible to find these comic books because like people are like, oh my god, like I want to know more about these characters
yeah.
because Creature Commandos, that's like somebody telling you about Guardians of the Galaxies in the 90s, bro. Like people aren't like okay, who like so like, who are they? Like
Yeah. Or even if you see it, you're like, yo, I'm not picking this shit up. Like, yo, I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna scoop Suicide Squad before I pick up Creature Commandos. It was the same thing for Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I would always see their characters. I would see Group. I would be like, yo, the fuck is this tree nigga and a raccoon? And I don't even remember seeing. I think anytime I saw their cover, I would always see Star Lord with his mask on. I'm like, yo, this kind of looks cool, but it's like I'm not gonna read this. Like I'm gonna read something else. But then James Gunn was like, "Oh," or Marvel was like, "We're doing Guardians of the Galaxy." So I was like, "All right, guess I gotta become familiar now." So same thing, you know. I'm gonna do the same shit. Even though I like to shit on DC, I'm gonna read these fucking comics. You know, I want to
yeah.
be a little bit more versed. I gotta broaden my fucking horizon on shit that I'm interested in.
Yeah, no, facts. That's one thing that has me really excited about James Gunn though, is that he does care about comic books. Like it's not just like you're throwing somebody in there that's just like I'm a good director, but I know nothing about these characters.
I can't stand that.
He's he's passionate about the characters, so like that's one thing that I'm really excited to see. Like is how he does it because even though like I might not like agree with all his like creative choices are like the people that are like the characters that he picks to represent are not represent are the characters that he picks to portray. He still cares about these characters. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite Marvel movies. And you know I wait for it to come out on streaming, bro, before I watch it. Like I've only seen probably Doctor Strange in theaters. I saw both Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange movies are fire. Can't even
I
cap.
love Doctor. I don't know why people hate Multiverse of. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some minor things about Multiverse of Madness that I could pick apart. I don't understand why people hate it. I actually like that shit. I thought that show. I thought it was actually better than Thor. What was the last Thor that came out?
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. Yeah, I thought it was better than
I
Thor
got
Love and Thunder.
I got through about 45 minutes of Love and Thunder, and I was like, I'm just not gonna watch this no more. But no, I don't like the only thing I don't like about Multiverse of Madness. Like, I love the CGI. I love Doctor Strange in it. I love Doctor Strange like progression, like character progression. I hate Wanda in that movie. I hate her. I hate the reason why she does anything. I hate how she does stuff. I hate I hate her lines in it, bro. Like, there's nothing about Wanda except for how she looks doing stuff. Like,
Yeah, she's fire, man.
cause she's killing it the whole movie.
Yeah,
But like her reasoning behind it, I'm like,
she don't need to say nothing for the whole movie. I'll just stare at her, and it's like, yeah, she is fire. There will be no Elizabeth Olsen slander tonight for me, or ever.
Nah, man, but like that, like James Gunn.
Yeah,
James Gunn, I'm excited. I'm excited for a few projects. I'm not excited for Superman though. Like, that's not fair.
Tell me why. Why are you not excited about Superman? That's the flagship of DC.
So the reason why I'm not excited is because I know who James Gunn is as a comic book creator, right? I've seen Suicide Squad or the Suicide Squad. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
You do know that Suicide Squad is the revival of DC cinema, right? I want you to know that. I want you to know that right now. That has been the only DC project that has been unanimously loved by nerds, comic book since what, like anything DC. I'm just letting you know that.
I honestly feel like because we're so accustomed to Marvel's formula that's what Suicide Squad gave you, right?
I don't think that's Marvel's formula at all. First of all, there's blood and gore and killing.
I mean, obviously it's the Suicide Squad, so like there's gonna be some differences, but like the lighter tone to it, the jokes, it's like they're literally on a deserted island and like for like the first 10 minutes it's dark, and then everything after that is just super bright in the movie, which is I have no problem. There's a dude that literally shoots like neon colored polka dots out of his arms, like.
Yeah, but that's how could I mean, this is my opinion. I feel like that DC movie is totally different than anything that has been done with Marvel, and that could probably be done with Marvel, only because obviously Disney and shit like that, but they still kind of go a little crazy. But the amount of gore, that already puts it in its own category.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The borderline between things being super serious and super what the fuck. So like you said, Polka Dot Man, the rat chick, the weasel motherfucker, like that whole first scene with first of all, how Captain Boomerang die? He died like dumb
When Pete
easily.
Davidson walks up, and so like this is what I mean. So like, mind you, I love the Suicide Squad, right? Like, I'm not saying that I dislike the movie. I love the movie, right? I don't have any problems with the movie. But like a good example is like they're like going on this super serious mission, right? And then all of a sudden Pete Davidson's like, "Hey guys, it's me!" Like that's like like that feels like something out of like a Marvel movie, bro. Like it's like
We've never seen Pete Davidson or anyone in a Marvel movie do any shit like that.
But
that's what I'm saying. I feel like James Gunn is gonna have so much more creative control than what he can do. I feel like he's gonna be fucking better.
I just mean like how like for example in Guardians of the Galaxy where like they're on like a serious mission and then Star-Lord walks up dancing and stuff like that. It's like he takes something very serious and then like cracks it into like cracks it in like something like super lighthearted. Like that's like what I mean by that.
I feel
Yeah,
you.
and
That you brought up a good point. Yeah, that whole dancing to save the universe or save the galaxy. I totally understand that.
yeah, like things like that. And mind you, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I think that because like things like that are it's like Thor when he goes from being like super serious guy to being like to like start cracking jokes. You feel me? It's like so like things like that. And I think that that's more easily acceptable to like your general audience. Whereas like before that, you had like serious DC movies like Man of Steel, serious movie. Wonder Woman was a serious movie. Like, I mean, granted, like Wonder Woman, you know, like she has like a couple of jokes. Man of Steel has like one or two. You feel me? But it's made like a serious movie. The Dark Knight trilogy, crazy serious movies. You feel me?
Yeah, but I mean, well, first of all, Dark Knight, phenomenal movie. Of course, it's serious. It did have its jokes, though. Obviously, Joker's in it, but those jokes, like those jokes, were
Yeah,
top tier fucking jokes, top tier acting, top tier special effects, practical effect, everything. Those movies were phenomenal. I would have been cool if they built a universe off of Christopher Nolan, but I feel like his universe was too realistic. So
yeah. You couldn't
everybody
have
in
like
that,
a Superman in that.
yeah,
I don't
everybody in
think.
that I mean, forget about Superman. How you gonna have Green Lantern? How you gonna have Martian Manhunter? How you gonna have?
Yeah,
It's too realistic.
yeah,
So yeah, that's why I also like Ben Affleck, or at least the take on that Batman, because he moved like he had super powers, but he didn't. So he
yeah.
was very quick, swift, strong as like he was like there was some scenes with Batman. I was like, yo, Ben Affleck, I like this, but obviously that's no more as well.
Outside of
So
Kevin Conroy, R.I.P. Ben Affleck is the best Batman in my opinion.
that's a bold statement. There's a lot of people that like Michael Keaton.
So Michael, so like when I say that, I think that obviously outside of Kevin, rest in peace. You know,
Yep,
he he is
like
Batman.
legend,
When
absolutely.
whenever I hear Batman's voice in my head, it's Kevin,
Yeah,
right? But outside of Kevin, the only person who was a good Batman and Bruce Wayne, in my opinion, like did them both good, was Ben Affleck. Like now, mind you, I think Christian Bale was a better Batman than Ben Affleck, but he wasn't a better Bruce.
I think the opposite.
You think the opposite?
I think I think Ben Affleck's Batman is a better Batman, and I think Christian Bale was a better Bruce Wayne. Like Christian
That's
Bale, he
fair.
was picking up the hose. Like when he had that yacht and he had all them Superman, like that's who I envision as Batman. Like if you could take Leonardo DiCaprio in his prime, that's pretty much Bruce Wayne. He just don't got no athletic ability and he's not Batman. But like that's how Christian Bale was. Like when he was like going into the restaurant and he saw Rachel and fucking Two-Face there and they were like, oh, he was with his model chick and he was like, oh, don't worry about it. I own the place. Yo, bring the table over here. That's Bruce Wayne.
No,
That's
that
who
is
I
facts.
think of Bruce Wayne. We didn't get a chance to see Ben Affleck do any shit like that. But yeah, that's who I think Bruce Wayne is.
I think so. Like I think the reason why I feel I guess I can see what you're saying because I was gonna bring up when he like ran into the building in BVS, but that's more like your Batman. So yeah, I can see what
Mhm.
you're saying. Where it's like he's a better where let's say Ben Affleck's the better Batman, but not probably as good of a Bruce Wayne because like everything that I think about, even with him like going downstairs when he had like the little flash drive in the server room at Lex's place. He was kind of smooth, but he was kind of like, yeah, I feel like Bruce Wayne could have been a little more smooth than that. I can see what you're saying. Yeah, no,
You know, it's a trash
yeah.
Bruce Wayne. That
Who?
motherfucker, Edward Cullen. He is a
Robert
trash
Pattinson
Bruce
is a
Wayne.
terrible Bruce.
Trash Bruce Wayne, trash Batman. But that movie, I gotta give it to it. That movie was pretty good.
He's
Fucking
a
the way,
good year one Batman. He's a good year one Batman.
yeah. He first of all, I don't know that Bruce Wayne. That he was poor. Like this dude ain't rich. He looked like he smelled like sour milk. Didn't do his hair. It's like you ain't picking up no bitches. I could get more bitches than you, and I'm broke. It's like no
Man
fucking
ain't got
way. That was not
Man,
no
they got
Bruce
no
Wayne.
fortune. Man, they
Yeah,
got
man.
no fortune whatsoever.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that was trash. So, let's go back to Superman. How do you feel James Gunn's vision is going to be for Superman? Obviously, like I told you, I think I told you this in message, but I think it's going to be lighter than what we saw of Man of Steel.
Oh, of course. I don't think. Not that I don't think he's capable. I don't think James Gunn will ever write like a super serious comic book movie, like how like a Man of Steel was. Like I,
Do fans want outside of Batman, because Batman is obviously much darker. But I mean, even with doing Damian Wayne, I feel like that's still gonna bring it a little bit lighter. You can't have the Bat family and then not be jokes like that. That's not gonna happen. But do we
I
think? Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like I don't even remember my fucking question, to be honest. I'm just like fucking just like talking about this shit. But yeah, so Superman, you were saying that you don't think that James Gunn is capable of doing anything dark. Why is that?
Not that he's not capable. I just don't think that he will. I just don't think that that's in his that's in his DNA as like a creator. Whereas like
Okay.
whereas like Zack Snyder, you know you're gonna get buff dudes without shirts on. You're gonna get slow mos. You're gonna get a
Yep.
whole lot of CGI, and it's gonna look great with like a great score. With James Gunn, it's you're probably gonna it's gonna be like serious for like 15 minutes. You're gonna get a bunch of jokes. It's gonna be a great story. It's gonna be some really good CGI, but it's gonna be like an overall lighter tone. And that's just who he is.
Okay.
And
Now,
there's nothing wrong with that.
do consumers do we like the lighter stuff or do we like the darker stuff?
I think that when it comes to DC, I think that a lot of DC fans who understand the characters appreciate the darker stuff because all the characters in DC have some type of like crazy tragedy, right? Batman ain't got
Yeah.
no family.
Yep.
Superman's whole planet's dead.
Yep.
Um, the Flash's mom is dead. Um,
Yeah.
just like everybody has something super sad. Martian Manhunter lost Mars. Like it's
Yep.
no like nobody's a superhero in DC because they have a good time doing it. Like it's there's something tragic that happened to them and they don't want it to happen to nobody else.
Maybe that's why DC's
Now,
trash, because it's so depressing. We need to call it depressing comic. That's
but now But now, can they have lighter stories? Obviously. I don't think All Star Superman, like, even though All Star Superman is about him dying, he has a very light tone about it throughout the whole story. Which is, there's like a picture, or like the picture that he posted for his movie is from All Star Superman. I don't think he will because that's about Superman literally dying. And if you're trying to start a whole new Superman, like, franchise, you can't start it off with him dying unless you do Henry Cavill and then he just comes back as somebody else, which he's obviously not going to do.
Yeah.
But I think that with Superman, you have to have a balance of, because granted he has like a dark story, but you don't want to see a depressed and moody Superman because he's supposed to be hope. So I think that you have to find like that fine balance when it comes to Superman. And I
Yeah.
think that he can do it. And I think he can do it. I just don't want it to be overly jokey.
Okay. So here, let's play this game. Let me ask you questions, and we'll stick to the Superman movie. Do you think James Gunn is going to go lighter or darker?
Lighter for sure, 100%. You can't go
Okay.
darker than Man of Steel.
All right. So we're gonna go light. Do you think Superman is going to be muscular, or do you think he's just going to like be regular built but just strong?
I think he should be muscular, but I think James Gunn is going to have like just a not like super built, but he's gonna be above average.
Okay. All right. Cool. Do
Like there's not gonna be
you
no padding in the suit. I don't think.
okay? Do you think the first villain in the movie is going to be Lex Luthor, or you think it's going to be somebody else?
Nah, it's gonna be somebody small. I don't know who it's gonna be, but it's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be anybody big. I don't think it's gonna be like a Brainiac or like a Lex. And if it is a Lex, it's gonna be you just meeting Lex. He's not gonna be like a villain yet. It's gonna be somebody that we're not even thinking of. I think.
I mean, I always judge a superhero movie by the villain. We need to see Brainiac. I'm I'm keeping it a spade right now. Fuck Lex Luthor, make him some secondary like shit that's going on, but we need Brainiac. We need somebody that's, and you can do Brainiac. Use, like, think about it. Fucking China is using fucking TikTok and all this like, kind of spin it like that, yo. Brainiacs making these, so I don't know, just do something without smartphones, like whatever, but make Brainiac the fucking villain. Like, we need Superman to have a fire villain. I feel like they scratched the surface a little bit with Man of Steel, but then they reverted by making Lex Luthor the villain. But Lex Luthor was fucking Jesse Eisenberg, and it's like, yo, this ain't Lex Luthor. This is just a bald nigga. Like that. I didn't think that was Lex. So for this new Superman, I'm going to judge it. I'll let everything slide. I'll let trunks or no trunks, muscle or no muscle, I'll let all of that slide. But the villain gotta slap. The villain gotta make me say, yo, I might side with the villain. The villain gotta make me say, oh, this nigga is not to play with. Like, it gotta be somebody crazy.
So this is what I think is gonna happen. Because he said that this first one is gonna be Superman like battling between his humanity and his Kryptonian heritage, right? So I think it's gonna be like not an origin story, but something close to like Man of Steel, where like he's like trying to figure out, does he want to save the world? Does he want to like keep himself a secret? Like say something like that. And I think it's gonna be like a low key villain. Then you're gonna introduce Lex Luthor for like the next movie, right? And then Lex Luthor's gonna have his movies.
There's no
No
low
idea.
key villain. Who's he gonna fight? A bully at school? He's gonna fucking blast a hole through his chest. It can't be. There's no low key villain for Superman. Like, even Lex Luthor, who's probably the lamest. He's not lame, but like, you know, for like me
Lame compared to
spending money to
Superman.
go like watch a Superman, like, yeah, Lex Luthor is the lamest. Like, we need someone that is like borderline fire that Superman can't even beat, and like he's frequently worrying about him throughout all of. And I feel like that's Brainiac. Or what's the other dude, the big dude who's in purple? I'm always like drawing a blank.
Mongol.
Mongo would be fire.
That's what I was gonna say, because I was gonna say it could be Mongol, because Mongol he's big, but he's not like well known if you're not like really into comic books.
Mm-hmm.
So he's somebody that you could have pull up. You know, he tried to take Superman to World, and you know, there's like a whole issue there. But I think that you need more than just Superman. I think to fight Brainiac. Like, I think that that's going to be when Supergirl gets introduced to his movies, is when he'll fight Brainiac. Like, it'll be like a whole thing, because remember, he's going to do Supergirl coming from like a satellite of Krypton. So he could do it to where like the first movie is him fighting somebody like Mongol, and then Lex Luthor has like a Batman from BVS thing where it's like, well, what if he decides to do this to us? Now I need to protect this. And then that movie is like him fighting Lex. And then at the end of that, you get Supergirl come, but Brainiac is following her. You know, because she because like she's running away from Brainiac, and then now you got the Supergirl Superman team up fighting Brainiac.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with that. Remember that the animated movie? I forget the exact name, but where Supergirl like first met Clark Kent, and this dude Darkseid came through and was fucking them both up. That was a fire.
Darkseid. I'll never forget. So my cousin's a huge Green Lantern fan, right? It's one of the more recent animated movies. I don't remember the name of which one it is, but it's the one where like he meets Batman, and Batman takes his ring off, and then like Green Lantern's like, how'd you do that? And then they see Darkseid, and then Green Lantern's like, I got this, and then flies up to Darkseid, and then immediately gets his ass beat.
Blasted. That's I can't. There's so many DC names, and I always mix it up. Like, I always mix up Batman versus Robin with Batman's son of Batman. See, I can't even fucking think right now. But yeah, I'm like, always mixing up the movie names, but I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, like the DCAU is super. It's good, but there's like they've completed so many iterations of it. Like, my favorite one is the one with Constantine. That's my favorite iteration of the DCAU.
That was Constantine, the one where they were fighting Darkseid. They were fighting on Apocalypse, right?
That one? They were fighting Trigon. So they were fighting Trigon. And then
I'm thinking of
they had to go get help from Dr. Fate. They went to his house. He got separated from Zatanna and everybody. Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Okay.
and then like Constantine sacrifices himself at the end. It's like a whole like sad thing with Constantine.
Yeah. My favorite one has got to be the one with the fucking Court of Owls. That shit was fire.
I love the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
If they don't do Court of Owls at some point with the DCU, it's wasted because like I enjoy the fact that they're doing Damien. They're gonna have to put Nightwing and Red Hood in there, like they have to.
Yeah.
You're gonna get solo films for them.
That's how you're gonna elevate Batman. Like, fuck all of this, just keep it Bruce Wayne and have it like, no. Let's get the Bat family in there. Let's get Robin. Let's get Nightwing. Let's get Red Hood in the background beefing with his family. We can get Red Robin. Like, just have all of these fucking Robins. I'm excited for Damon because I want to beat his ass myself. That's gonna be a dynamic that I want to see is Damian and Bruce Wayne like fucking arguing with each other, him talking back. I need that. That's gonna be a fire ass take on Batman. I could see that, and I don't know. I'm excited to see what James Gunn's gonna do because I've only seen. No, that's not even true. I was gonna say I've only seen James Gunn do the Suicide Squad, like the group shit. So, Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy. Galaxy was in obviously space, duh. Suicide Squad was still grounded on Earth. I want to see what his vision is. I want to see the fucking movies. That's what I want to fucking see.
No, facts. And then even when you and like having Damien, like so just putting Damien in the movie by himself expands the universe so much because you have to put Talia, you have to put race, you have to put so many other people in there. Alfred has to be there, so you have to have a new Alfred. Like there's so much in there that has to be added now because you're adding Damien. And then not only that, because Damien's the fourth Robin, like now you have to tell what happened to all the other Robins too. So it's like just by having him in there, you're already expanding it so much. Yeah. And I'm a Batman fanatic. I love Batman.
There's 4 Robins? Tim Drake, Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne.
There's more than 4.
Tim Drake, Dick Grayson, Damian Wayans. Who's the 4th?
Jason Todd.
Oh, Jason Todd. Yeah, I always disrespect Jason Todd. I always forget about him. All right, cool. Yeah, and that's Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, all right, cool.
Red Robin is a terrible name, by the way. That's the worst name out of all of them, I think.
Why is that a terrible name? I feel like, how else could you remix Robin?
I think that it's just because you already had Red Hood. I think having another Red, I thought was just kind of lazy. And just Red and then adding Robin to it, and his costume looks terrible, bro.
Yeah, his costume. I think Nightwing has the best costume.
Oh, for sure, bro. Nightwing himself, like, I'm gonna just throw it out there, bro. Batman has the best supporting cast of any superhero. He has the best rogues gallery, in my opinion. The only person that I think rivals him would be like a Spider-Man, right? And then
who the fuck supports Spider-Man?
Huh?
I said, who supports Spider-Man? What do you mean, like supporting? Like, what do you mean?
I said, like, Batman has the best rogues gallery. The only person who can compete with his rogues gallery would be Spider-Man's rogues gallery.
What the
fuck
like,
is say like
gallery? I have no idea what a rogues gallery.
His villains.
Okay. I've never heard that term before. Rose gallery. Like, all right, cool. So, no, villains. Oh, nobody's topping Batman's villains. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, and then as far as sidekick, come on, bro. Like it transcends comic books. Like yeah, like I say, even in sports, when you talk about Michael Jordan and Pippen, that's Batman and Robin. Like it's like it transcends. Like his supporting. It's crazy. Like Alfred. Like everybody. Like everybody's trying to get like, I mean, not trying to, but like everybody should have an Alfred character, in my opinion. Like that mentor character.
It's either Alfred from fucking Batman or Jeffrey from Fresh Prince. Those are like the 2 pinnacles of having your own butler. Yeah.
Facts. And then it's just like Batman has so much more than just Batman, and I think that's like that was like a big thing that I think has been missing from like every Batman movie outside of Batman and Robin from the 90s, bro. Like that's the only one that's ever given us a Robin. Like think about that. Like all the Batman movies that we've gotten past Adam West.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, we've had Adam West, like we've had that Robin. We've had Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. Those had 2 Robins, but then after that, yeah, nothing.
Yeah, and we've had a fuck ton of Batman movies.
Yeah, but we need we need a Robin. We need Short Robin with the suit, with the bow staff. You know, we
Facts.
need like
No,
that
yeah, facts.
Robin. Yeah,
And they
I
need
didn't.
to do a bunch of movies quick because the kid that they're going to get for Robin is going to grow up fast, and we can't just be
Yeah,
switching out Robin, bro. Like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm excited. I'm fucking hyped to see what they do, man. I just want to fucking be in 2025 already.
facts. I want to get there.
And that's far away, yo. It just turned 2023. So for us, we have to run through these shitty ass DC leftover bullshit movies.
Whoa,
Bro, you
chill.
can't tell me that you're excited for a Shazam. You can't tell me. Look me dead in my eyes right now. There's no way you're excited for this Shazam movie.
I am
There's no
hyped
way.
for Shazam too, bro.
Bro, you just
I
lost
want to
all your
see.
fucking credibility.
No,
I'm deleting this
no.
bullshit. There's no way that you're excited for this Shazam. There's no way.
And let me tell you why, though. I'm not excited. So, like, the fact that it's not going to be intertwined with anything obviously diminishes it, like, a lot, right?
I don't care if it was intertwined, interlocked. I don't care if it was fucking French braided into the DC. This version of Shazam is ass. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
So you didn't like the first Shazam movie?
No. I didn't like
Not
the
at all?
villain. No, not at all. No.
I
I don't even. Let's say if we did still have the DCEU, I do not see that Shazam fighting Black Adam. There's no Black Adam would wash him in 2 seconds. There's a reason why they had Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, Superman at the end of that, and not that bullshit ass Shazam.
No, yeah. So fair, yeah, fair. Okay, facts. They were definitely on, but you have to think though. This is so everything up until Shazam was coinciding with what Zack Snyder was doing, because like remember he picked Gal Gadot, he picked Jason Momoa, he picked all these people to play these characters. He
Good
didn't pick
casting, good
Shazam.
casting.
Yeah, but like he didn't pick Shazam. So like
Well,
that was
that's why I'm not
DC's
pinning
first
it.
movie.
That's why I'm not pinning it on him. I'm pinning it that it's just trash regardless.
No, yeah, but like to point to where it's like Black Adam would have watched him because The Rock was trying to bring all that stuff back. So he was doing it in like that same vein of like Man of Steel BVS, whereas Shazam was trying to go like the lighter tone to like try to get more like your casual fans in there and stuff like that. So
I don't
feel
hear
like
anyone talking about Shazam. I don't even see any
no, they
little kid
failed.
wanting to be Shazam for Halloween. Are there even any Shazam Halloween costumes? If there are, they're in bulk and they're probably spread throughout fucking, I don't know, Indonesia or some shit like that, because nobody wants them shits here. There's nobody, I've never seen anybody want to be Shazam, like Shazam. I don't see no kids talk about Shazam. I haven't seen a Shazam toy. Let's be real.
Okay, so question. So we know that Shazam name is Captain Marvel, right?
Yes, I know.
Which Captain Marvel movie was better, Shazam or Marvel's Captain Marvel?
Bro, first of all, Captain Marvel has Samuel L. Jackson in it. That's already better.
Okay, but he's not the main focus of the movie, though.
It don't matter. I'd much rather watch that Captain Marvel movie than that. I watched Shazam for like 2 minutes and I was like, get this shit out of here. This shit is trash.
Okay.
Trash.
I mean, I
can't
disagree.
stand.
I think
And
Captain
you know
Marvel
what's
was
crazy?
that bad.
Shazam, or Captain Marvel, DC's version, obviously, is one of my favorite characters. Like, I actually like him more than Superman because he's a little kid and he just says Shazam and he gets his own superpowers and he becomes a superhero. Like, I like that aspect. I feel like that has a little bit more creativity and depth than just Superman being super strong and the hope for American justice or whatever bullshit they try to spin Superman. I actually like that. And I also like Black Adam as the villain to Captain Marvel or Shazam or whatever it is. Like when I saw them fight in the animated movie, I thought that shit was fucking amazing. But this Shazam, like, come on, bro. He's doing like TikTok dances. Nah.
No, that was bad. No, okay, the whole he's trying to figure out what his powers are was kind of bad.
Yeah, and I understand
But
again like the aspect of him being a kid, but like if the movie was fire and he did that, then yeah, you fucking do that shit all day. But I didn't like the villain in the first one. I, the new one, it's like yo, I like nigga, we don't want. I don't want to see any of this. Like I'm not
I don't
invested in
think
these villains. I'm not. Yeah,
I just think Zachary Levi doesn't like he doesn't look like he looks like a kid superhero, but he doesn't look like he belonged with the rest of DC superheroes. Like it didn't fit. You feel me?
I yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna pin it on him as the actor. He's the fucking actor, and like
Oh
it
no,
don't
facts.
yeah, it don't. It's just the writing and the direction that they have. It's the writing, it's the direction, it's the CGI, it's the
This once
villain. Like
again goes back to Warner Brothers.
Black Adam should have been the first villain, and Black Adam should have fucked him up in the first movie, and then Superman could have like hopped in and say, "Oh, I'll help you," or I don't know, just like something like that. But of course, these motherfuckers ain't thinking, and that's why they all lost their fucking jobs because they took these IPs and they just wanted money, and they were like, "Oh yeah, let's just throw this shit out here and let's try to copy Marvel," and that shit don't work. It's like, yo, we're not making early 2000s, mid 2000s movies now. It's like, no, we're fucking beyond that. What we want to see is we want to see superhero movies like Captain America Winter Soldier. We want to see shit like that. We want to see shit like Black Panther. We want to see like those are the type of movies that we want to see. Yo, I'll even give it to the Batman, Christopher Reeve, or whatever the fuck the name of the director or whatever they label it as. But that was creative, even though I don't really like that Bruce Wayne, but just the movie in totality, I thought it was very creative. I thought it was outside of the box. I liked it. That's the type of shit that we want to see. We don't want to see that gimmicky shit that we have gotten in early superhero movies.
And we honestly can't even say that because if we look at early 2000s, like the early 2000s gave us The Dark Knight and Tobey Maguire. So it's like, so it's like he's just making like so
Yeah,
like those movies are good as hell.
we liked it for that time though. But if somebody made that same shit now, it's like,
I don't
yo,
know,
this
man.
is
Tobey Maguire and The Dark Knight, bro. Them hold
well,
up,
Dark Knight.
but they're exceptions though. But they're
Yeah,
exceptions.
Dark Knight. I'm gonna say Dark Knight is an exception, but as far as like the Spider-Man movies or even the X-Men movies or the early
The
like the first
Fantastic
two
Four
Fantastic
movie was
Four movies, like
terrible.
that formula, like we're I feel like we're done with, man. It's like we don't necessarily need origin stories unless you're gonna do the origin story like fire. It's like, yo, put us in the heat of battle, give us good storytelling, good writing, and that's it. Unless
I'm
it's
not
a
gonna lie.
specific instance, yeah.
I don't need to see Batman's parents die no more. I don't.
No,
I promise you,
I
I
don't need to
don't.
see that. I
Like,
don't need to see it. But we're not getting an origin story because, like, yo, yo, my man Batman been Batman piping mad chicks, and now he got a fucking orphan, not an orphan, a baby from one of his
illegitimate
side
son.
chicks. Yeah, so it's like, yo,
Hey,
we're good.
do you think he's gonna be comic book true and he's gonna have it to where Talia basically raped him? Or do you think it's gonna be like a consensual kid that he just kinda got and just kinda like went off to do his own thing?
Uh,
How
no,
controversial do you
no,
think James Gunn is?
no comment because I'm not trying to get myself in trouble because I got mad jokes that I can say right now, but I'm gonna tone it down. I'm gonna tone it down. I don't know. I mean, that would be pretty. That would be edgy as hell. I mean, if Bruce was black, I'd be like, nah, we can't see the demasculation of a black man. But he's white, so it's like, yo, anything's up for grabs right now. It's like they can kind of get away with anything in media. So it's like, yo, if James Gunn does that, probably gonna win a fucking Oscar for that shit. That shit's gonna be revolutionary. We've never seen shit like that in superhero movies. So if they go that
that
route,
question that question actually got me a little bit excited, bro, because you are right. James Gunn, I don't know how much he was allowed to do with Guardians.
yeah,
He might, because DC, as you know, like DC don't give a fuck about blood. They don't give a fuck about you killing
yeah.
nobody. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. What if he's like this crazy, like super edgy dude, and we just have never been able to see it?
I mean, yeah, I think that's that. I mean, we've seen that with Suicide Squad. It's like the scene where what's his face and Peacemaker were going through the camp and just
Idris Alba,
massacring everybody. That was
smaller bullets.
beautiful, beautiful. I feel like that's how James Gunn is. I feel like we're probably gonna see Superman like explode people like by accident. Like he's, I don't know. Maybe we won't, but you know, whatever.
But that's where that balance comes in, because like, if he's blowing people up on accident, if it's like corny with like a corny like montage song in the back, I'm not gonna like it. But if it's like but I say if it's like he's using his heat vision to like interrogate somebody and then accidentally like melts off his arm by accident, I'd be like,
yeah,
oh,
I feel like
okay.
I mean,
It's
yeah, I
that
don't know.
balance. It's that
You know, here's
balance,
the
bro.
thing. Here's the thing. This is who James Gunn is. James Gunn is competing with the boys. The boys is doing what DC should have been doing. This whole DCE or whatever. The boys has been taking their tropes of their superheroes and doing it way better than DC. Homelander, obviously Superman isn't Homelander, but the way Homelander kind of moves, like that's what like
Yeah. He's
he's
a
killing
Superman
it.
clone.
Yeah. You know, just their whole little Justice League and shit like that, the things that they go through, we should have been seeing stuff like that in that universe. But you know, like I love when the Justice League is at odds. I love when they're fighting, but there's also like a massive threat. Like one of the like the whole storyline from Young Justice when they were kind of like splitting decisions on what they wanted to do. I forget the exact story. I watched the season like mad long ago, but
Yeah.
um
Is that the one where like they break off into separate teams?
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was
Yeah, yeah. I
probably
know
just
what
the
you're talking
last season that just dropped. But like, yeah, I like shit like that. I like when the Justice League is like, you know, we need shit like that. We just need to see some new shit. We need to see stuff that we haven't seen before, and I feel like James Gunn is the man to do it. That's why
the
I'm hyped, even though it's Marvel gang all day. But I am very hyped for DC shit that is going to be dropping in the near future.
the perfect storyline for that would be Tower of Babel. If he could do Tower of Babel, that'd be great.
What the hell is that?
That's the one where Batman has his contingency plans,
Oh,
and then they get stolen.
okay.
Yeah, and then they the whole Justice League gets taken out, and then they find out that it's because of Batman.
Oh, see, now you
So
talking.
yeah,
Now you
that'd be
talking.
dope.
That shit, yeah. Like, yo, fuck it. There is no villain. You know who's the villain? The villain is everybody in the Justice League. That would be fire.
So I
That
have
would be
two
fire.
questions for you as a Marvel fan.
Yes.
One, how do you feel about comic book movies killing off villains? Like at the end of movies, instead of just like how like at the end of like a comic book arc they'll keep him alive, or like so like he'll seem dead but then like, he'll still be alive and then like he'll come back later, versus like in Black Panther where like they just off Killmonger at the end of the movie even
Yeah.
though he's a reoccurring villain in the comic books.
You know, it's funny that you asked that question because I was literally thinking of this when I just rewatched Black Panther. Um, I was thinking, I was like, why did Ryan Coogler kill off Killmonger? I felt like that could have been a character that we could have reaped the benefits on, if not in this movie, another movie to come. And I was thinking, I was like, damn, I was like, why did he kill off Killmonger? And then I was like, yo, why is he killing off everybody in the fucking movie? He killed off the Queen. He killed somebody else. I can't remember. But I was like, yeah, I was like, well, why are they killing off everybody? And to answer that question, I guess it depends. If they have a specific villain that they don't have any use for, then, for example, like that dude, fucking, what's his name? I think his name is Crossbones. I may be confusing his name, but he was like a villain for Captain America. I don't care if I never see him again. You know, I don't care
Yeah.
about that. But like bigger villains, so like they haven't killed Loki. Loki, they're using him, which is good. They haven't killed, or they pretended fake killed Scarlet Witch. We know she's gonna be back again. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Who else did they kill? Obviously, they killed Thanos. I would love to see Thanos again, and I feel like we could see him again because technically we've already gotten 2 versions of Thanos, and that's the thing. Because of this situation with the multiverse, I feel like it doesn't matter anybody that's gotten killed; they're going to be able to bring them back. It's just how
Yeah.
are you going to do it? Because obviously, the new person that you bring back is going to be from another universe. So, are they just going to leave their universe and come here? And then just forget about their old universe? Like, that's obviously going to be a topic of conversation. Or, like,
Yeah.
how is it going to work? How are they going to introduce the X-Men and Fantastic Four? I feel like some of our questions are going to be answered with the Ant-Man movie, but it's also going to bring in a lot more questions, which is good because that's Marvel's whole thing, is like answer some of your questions, but now we add on like 20 more questions on top of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It depends.
I really don't want main villains to be killed off. Just kind of like use them. Yeah, it's fucking tough, man, because it's like the stakes aren't high enough unless somebody fucking dies.
Yeah.
That's why
Because like,
Endgame was so mind blowing, because the stakes were high. It was like, yo, like Thanos is really going to kill all of you guys. And in order for us to win, one of our guys, Tony, had to die. And it was final. And it's like, fuck. Like, death always adds like the highest level of importance into any media. So it's tough to like do it without killing.
so like, I don't know if you know King Lion on TikTok, right?
King Lionel.
King,
I may have
King
seen
Lion.
him.
He's like a
King
comic book
Lion.
TikToker. He shits on Batman constantly, right? He always talks about how he doesn't kill the Joker and shit like that, right? He hates Batman. He talks about
Yeah.
how he doesn't kill the Joker. How like if he killed, like if he just killed people, then like there'd be no problems, right? And then that got me thinking. It's like, well, I mean, it's because you can't kill Batman villains because Batman villains are just I kind of like. What if you killed the like literally the Joker was supposed to be in one story
Yeah.
when he first came out, and he was so iconic that they just said we'll just keep him, and they
Yeah.
haven't killed him since. So it's like that just I just don't know if that's like a comic book thing where like they're just trying to like save villains, but it's just I just don't. The main one I think about is Killmonger because like why did you kill Killmonger? Like
Yeah, and like we know he's dead now because Shuri saw him in the ancestral planes. So
yeah,
you can't resurrect him, because if you could resurrect him, then you could resurrect T'Challa. Obviously, not Chadwick
but
Boseman, but you know what I mean.
R.I.P.
It's like you put yourself in a hole is because you killed off T'Challa, and you also killed off Killmonger, and we saw Killmonger in the ancestral plane, and so now it's like final. You can't use him ever again. I mean,
Yeah,
unless you do something crazy where it's like you take his DNA and but that's like so out
they're gonna
of.
bring a Lazarus pit into Marvel.
Yeah, right. Now, the only thing that you could do is the multiverse, but then it still brings in the question is like, why would someone from their universe come into our universe unless their universe is going to be totally destroyed? But we have to see what Kang is going to do. So Kang and all of the multiverse, but also timeline, and it's kind of like blurred between the two right now. So they're kind of like blurring time, space, and the multiverse. So we got to see what the fuck's going on.
And then that's going to bring in like a in canon question, obviously not a real world question, but like why would you bring Killmonger and not T'Challa? You feel me? It's like
Why would you
obviously like we
bring?
know why you can't do that, but like say for example, like if they go to like another universe
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
grab
yeah,
Killmonger, it's
yeah,
like, obviously in like the real world you obviously know why you can't do that, but then it's like in the in universe question it'd be why would you bring him from another universe and not the Black Panther? You know?
yeah.
So like that brings up a whole bunch more questions, or like but a whole bunch more issues. But then my second question is, as somebody who and this is more the Marvel question. The other one was like a general comic book movie question. Somebody who like when you watch something from Marvel, when it has like the Marvel thing pop up, you know that it's connected to the MCU, right? How
Mm-hmm.
does it feel going from watching something like Moon Knight, which kind of feels not connected, but you know that it is, and then watching something like the DCU, and then you have the Batman and Joker, where you know it's not connected, like those Elseworld stories. Because James Gunn said he's going to continue doing Elseworld stories. They're just going to be branded as Elseworld stories, to where it's like it's more clear that it's separated. But like, how do you think that that's going to be for like Marvel fans that are trying to like get into DC? You think that's going to be confusing, or you think it's going to be something that they're going to be able to grasp easy?
Nah, I don't think it's gonna be confusing at all. It's not gonna be confusing because somebody fucking said something. James Gunn said, "Hey, the Joker and this Batman are Elseworld. The main DCU timeline is this." No one has ever communicated that to the audience in a clear fucking way. It was always like, all right, we're gonna have this Batman and we're gonna make money there. And we're gonna have Joker movie and we're gonna make money here. But this
Well,
Joker's got
to be
nothing to do with
fair,
Batman. What?
the directors from both those movies said that they're not connected to the
Yeah,
DCU.
but they're not their CEOs. They're not the owners. They're just talking about their specific project that somebody gave them a bag and said, "Hey, direct this shit and make it hot so we can make money." That has always been DC's whole thing was, "Hey, we got all these characters. Let's make it billions. We don't give a shit what we do because the people are going to buy it anyway." Like, there hasn't been any clear fucking vision. There hasn't been anyone that has communicated with us like a Kevin Feige has. I said James Gunn should take over DC right when he made that Suicide Squad movie, and I saw not even before, when he was announced that he was doing the Suicide Squad movie, and Disney kind of dropped him because of those tweets. I was like, James Gunn should fucking apply for a job at DC, and they should just let him fucking do the whole thing. And I said this during COVID or whenever, and it's good that he's actually been in consideration, even though I think he was like last in line for it, but whatever. No big deal. But yeah, he clearly communicated that, and that's what we want. We want just a clear vision on what the fuck is going on. None of this mystery shit, none of this cheapening the fans and just playing with us and manipulating us, and because we're gonna pay for this shit. And no, we don't want that shit anymore. So to kind of tie it in, I think Moon Knight is going to be tied into the rest of the MCU, but you're basically saying, like, as an MCU fan, because all of our shit is connected, right? It's all connected, it's all entwined. There's no outside projects or shit like that. How are we going to react as DC fans? Well, now we're going to see it. James Gunn's going to have a clear aesthetic and vision for his main DCU, and then there's going to be other projects that are going to be outside of that are going to have their own thing that has nothing to do with the DCU. So it's going to be stamped as Elseworld, so that way that this Joker is in his own universe or timeline, whatever you want to call it. Batman's in his own universe, timeline, whatever you want to call it. And then there's probably going to be other projects that are in their own universe and timeline. That is totally cool. But I'm going to be focusing in on that main specific DCU timeline. I want to see Green Lantern. I want to see Superman. I want to see the TV shows mixing with each other. That's one thing. Another thing with the CW. That's another thing that was kind of confusing because it's like we have all of these lower budgeted TV shows, and then we got the main DCEU and Snyderverse, and then we got all these other projects. It's like, no, James Gunn saying, I'm making everything fucking streamlined. So the same person as being Superman, he's going to do the voiceover in the video game and the voiceover in the animated series. I think that's fucking beautiful. That's how you're going to unify all this shit. And that's how you have potential to blow past or at least catch up to Marvel. If you do that shit, that's going to be fucking dope, because then people are going to be like, oh shit, I'll just watch the Superman movie, but they got a game coming out that's going to tie into the Justice League, and I need to play the game in order to, like, that's going to be fire.
You know what I think so after this, I have two more questions for you as a Marvel fan. But I think what this is going to do, this is going to create, because obviously, like, growing up, you have people who were more DC fans, right? Because you had like the Batman animated series, the Justice League Unlimited, the Superman, and like all Superman stuff, right? So everybody that's our age generally grew up on more DC stuff, right? Then you're gonna have like this middle group of like MCU fans that grew up on Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and all that stuff, right? On like all the Avengers stuff, right? And then just like how you said, if they can do that right, where because Batman, Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, they're still like top known brands in the world. So if they can get that right, I think what's going to happen is that you're going to like this middle group of kids that are just like hardcore Marvel fans, and then everybody around them is going to just be like Batman, Superman again, because you only have one Iron Man, one Captain America, one of everything. You can't replace Robert Downey Jr. now. You can't replace.
Yeah.
And then it's like, so like that character's popularity ended with Robert Downey Jr. So it's like, how do you continue the Iron
legacy?
Man popularity? Like, how do you do that?
That's a good question. I mean, the only thing, the simplest answer is fucking resurrect this motherfucker. So something happens in the multiverse and Iron Man comes back, or a different version of Iron Man that is Robert Downey Jr. comes back. You know, that's the only thing that I could think of outside of doing something drastic, like having Tom Cruise as Iron Man Supreme or Superior, whatever the fuck his name is. Like all that.
I think that'd be a mistake, but
Yeah, and I'm just like kind of throwing it out there, but yeah, I mean that's the easiest band-aid would be to have Robert Downey Jr. bring back the mantle of Iron Man, but it's just from another universe. So that's it.
So do you think that? So do you think that that's a thing that could happen to where you have like this group of like the kids that were kids when Iron Man first came out, and now they're teenagers or like in their early 20s. Well, if that group of kids is just like hardcore Marvel fans, and every like group around them is back to being like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, if James Gunn does this right, because Batman never stopped being popular, because people are dropping random Batman movies and they're doing billions of dollars. Like Superman never lost popularity. It's just that you had this burst of popularity for Marvel because Disney had the bag.
Oh, I see what you mean. So you're basically saying that Iron Man, Captain America, like all of MCU was kind of like running the game. But now since James Gunn is taking over the mantle and those characters are kind of like gone and dead, it's now like a resurgence of the popularity of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman and Flash and just the whole Justice League in general, but mainly let's say Superman and Batman. Yeah, I think that could absolutely happen because that's technically what happened when I was a kid. When I was a kid, we only had Superman and Batman movies. So if I look back at my old toys, majority of that shit is Batman. It's Batman from, I literally had Batman
Beyond
fucking Wally West, not Wally West.
Michael
Why am
Keaton.
I? No, yeah. So Michael Keaton, but even Adam West.
Oh, Adam
I'm
West.
all
Okay.
over it. Yeah, I'm all over it. But I had that version of Batman as a toy. I had Michael Keaton as a version. I even had Val Kilmer as a Batman. I had so I had all of that. I had
George
Superman
Clooney.
as toys. Yeah. I had all of that shit. I had George Clooney's Batmobile. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had George Clooney's Batmobile. I had Michael Keaton's Batmobile. I had the Batmobile from the animated series. So like Batman, Superman. I had the Superman from the Superman TV show, like the animated series. So
Which
like I've
I
always had
mean,
that shit.
so like I mean, because to me, like I never really got on like the Marvel bandwagon. You know, I've we had this conversation. I stayed like the DC thing. So like to me, like the MCU to me is just like a fad. Like it's gonna go away. Like it was cool while it lasted. Batman's gonna come back because Batman is forever, right? I I think that because DC was so popular and because Marvel was so disjointed that that forced them to innovate in a way that Kevin Feige did to make the MCU, which is what I think is what's happening now. I think the MCU is the best thing that happened to DC, honestly, because like you said, like they were doing a whole bunch of disjointed. You get $1 billion, you get 100 million, you get 500 million to make a movie, and then they're just making 1,000 movies that don't mean anything. They have 1 million animated movies that nobody's ever seen because it's just like they're gonna make money somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But now the fact that Marvel then blew up, now it's like, okay, how do we get that bread?
Yeah.
And it's like it's forcing it's forcing that innovation. So which brings back to my main point. I'm excited for James Gunn. I'm just curious to see what he does with these characters.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see, man. We got a lot of time to wait, but I feel like we'll slowly but surely start seeing shit. And this is the same thing that happened when Zack Snyder took over, and we started to see like Superman's costume and Batman's costume, and what's his face?
I was so
He's
hyped,
always
bro.
what's his face? The dude from Canada. He's got the long hair, into hockey, and he's a director.
Oh, you're talking about the dude that always had the hat and he has like the what is
Yes,
his
he
name?
wears his hat backwards.
What is his name, dude?
He was in. He directed Clerks. You know who I'm talking about, though. He's
I know
always like,
exactly.
"Oh
I'm
my
about to
God, it's
figure
the
out a
most
name for you right
beautiful
now.
thing," and he starts crying and shit like that. Yeah, we know we're gonna get a comment from him, but yeah, we just
Of
got
course.
time. We got time, and I'm excited. I'm excited for DC,
Kevin
man.
Smith.
But yes, there we go, Kevin Smith. Yeah, he's always gonna fucking shed a tear for some shit on DC, especially with Batman. But yeah, man,
Facts.
cool. But we had an hour and 20 minutes, man. This shit went by quick, bro. Went by super quick. But yo, this was super dope, man. Like I said, you're my fucking DC delegate. Anytime something happens with DC that I gotta shit on, I go right to you. But I also gotta give DC
Yeah.
their flowers, man. They're gonna be dope, man. So G, anything you want to plug before we get out of here, and then we are gonna hop on to some Patreon shit.
Yeah, so guys, Trident issue 3 artwork starting soon. That should be out by the end of the year. I got some new music dropping in a couple months. You can follow me on my IG at GisTheKid. Everything spelled how it sounds, GisTheKid. My TikTok is going up. I'm at like 34,000 followers. As he said earlier, I'm just doing a
Talk
bunch
to
of
him.
funny reaction videos. Same at I got I'm working on some other stuff too. I can't really drop it all right now, but big things. I got the comic book coming, issue 3. Both issues are already out on Amazon right now. Gaius Trident, go check that out. Um, New music coming, GisTheKid on all streaming platforms, and go check out my TikTok. We doing big things over here, man. I appreciate you for having me, man.
There we go, man. Appreciate you for hopping on. I'll see you guys later. Deuces.
Peace.